back to Noble Reporting. This is your host, Dale Noble, reporting. Coming up, the Brexit nightmare continued as the process was extended to Halloween and MPs vanished like ghosts for Easter break. A negligent doctor was reinstated after thinking on her mistakes upon returning from the naughty corner. In Israel, voters voted right in the elections for Netanyahu. Gillette received widespread criticism for a heavy focus in recent advertisement. The media delighted in Assange's arrest for his involvement in attempting to investigate the truth. The Brexit Party arrived, but was criticised for being a popular alternative. The Star Wars Episode 9 trailer was dropped much to the chagrin of the fans who had believed this to be true of the series entirely. And we learned that Rolling Thunder is indeed silent when no news organisation is around to hear it. But first, the big story in the UK this week was the extended extension confirmed between Theresa May and the European Union. The meeting was held late into the night, as the additions to the celebratory drinks tab were finalised. Juncker, having imbibed throughout the day, was quickly found unconscious under the table. Macron became increasingly violent, declaring the rise of a new French empire, though he was quickly put into his place by an equally animated Merkel. And Theresa May staggered to the podium and began rambling about how much she loves f***ing the British people. In response to the news, members of Parliament got straight to work in planning their holidays for the next fortnight. Before they broke up from school, head boy Corbyn orated the institution's motto: "The Prime Minister has failed in her negotiations." Over in Leicester, struck-off Dr. Hadiza Bawagaba was given licence to practice once more on the NHS. Such are the pressures upon the healthcare institution that they have elected to place the former doctor into a lower position. Her past achievements within the profession were taken into consideration, so she now plays a pivotal role in freeing up the patient lists. Netanyahu claimed victory in Israeli elections this week, placing him on course for a fifth term as Prime Minister. Despite a current investigation into corruption and signs of voter fatigue, there is still huge support for a strong stance on national security. Also, unlike the opposition, Netanyahu offered close ties to America. Some would argue this as being his trump card. As an aside, English rugby player Billy Vunipola found himself in hot water with the RFU after expressing his support for Israel, and opposition leader Jeremy Corbyn was seen soon after the result undergoing an apoplectic seizure. Earlier this week, a Gillette advertisement became viral, drawing much negative attention into its orbit. The charge was led by activist organisation PETA, which claimed that the advertisement exploited land whales against their will. Gillette eventually took notice of the criticism and realised that they had, for all this time, been ignoring the elephant in the room. For future promotions, they have started looking to pastors new to get the ball rolling once more. After 7 years of waiting in the Ecuadorian embassy, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange was finally picked up for his date. Though still slightly reluctant, Assange was softly coerced into meeting up with the Americans after being told that they will hold back on the kinky stuff. Corbyn supported Assange with soothing words of consolation, saying that he too hated America. Many news outlets, including the BBC and Sky News, could not contain their excitement as yet another nail was placed in the coffin of free and open information. The Brexit Party officially launched, though a speech by Nigel Farage stirred up a storm. MP David Lammy and campaigner Femi Olawole likened the rhetoric to that of the Nazis and moved to condemn the speech, as that was their territory and not his. Corbyn was proud of his disciple Lammy for an interview on The Andrew Marr Show, in which he declared that any who disagreed with them were Nazis, thus quelling rising concerns about anti-Semitism once again. Star Wars is set to return after the Episode 9 trailer was revealed. The year-long hiatus between Star Wars films was seen as a reasonable course of time to recover from viewer fatigue. The quick succession of Episode 8, The Last Jedi, and Solo, A Star Wars Story was labelled by Kathleen Kennedy as the reason for why viewership tanked. Of course, this received backlash from fans who cited the move away from epic storytelling towards unoriginal, poorly directed lore fucking SJW horse. And finally, a large group of bikers took to the road on Friday in a show of solidarity for Soldier F. This comes after an inquiry into Bloody Sunday found that enough evidence was available to prosecute Soldier F for murder. The protest came as doubts were cast over the fairness of the trial. It is believed that the actions of this case could lead to many more in the future. However, despite support for the honourable cause and the gravity of the situation, much of the media remains silent. Though coming face to face with a sizable group of large, tattooed ex-military bikers would have much the same effect for any coward. There was a singular boo at the event from a haggard-looking tramp waving an IRA flag, though the identity of this miscreant remains a mystery. That is all for this episode. Thank you for tuning in to Noble Reporting. See you next Sunday.